Mike of Mike's Bags, and today I'm reviewing the Frontline Duo by Templar Cornhole. I love reviewing bags from Templar because they use a lot of unique, a lot of new and different materials, and it's fun for me because a lot of times a lot of bags use the same materials for good reason. Those materials are tested, they work well, they play great, and that's why a lot of companies use them, and I have no issues with them. But for me, it's fun to get a bag that I haven't tried before with materials I haven't seen before because I don't have any expectations. I don't know how they're going to play. This Frontline Duo is no exception. So let's go ahead and dive in. Let's break these bags down. Slow side, brand new material. I've never seen this in any other bag before. I don't know of any other company that uses this material. So again, I was excited to get out there and really see how it plays. Templar calls it a 6-speed, and I'm fine with this. I think it plays about a 6-speed. The interesting thing is, for being a 6-speed bag, it had a lot of control to it. It played. I could go up there and run bags hole for hole, no problem whatsoever. But I could also bring it down and throw a blocker when I need to, which for me, a 6-speed bag is kind of on my fast end. It's about as fast as I want to go. I like to play more of those slow to mid-speed bags. I tend to prefer to throw. I would rather throw harder than softer. I consider myself kind of a normal to hard thrower, but I'm more accurate when I have to throw harder than if I have to take something off and throw a higher arcing, more of a finesse shot. I lose my accuracy there. So I don't like to go with those 7, 8 speed slow side bags. The 6 is kind of where I like to settle at if I want a fast bag. But I had the ability of this bag to, I could throw my normal throw and have that faster hole for hole style bag, but I could still just take a touch off and get a ton of control with it. So I was able to really throw blockers and do things with this bag, cut shots and manipulate shots and do things with the bag that I would normally do with a 6-speed bag. So really, really impressed by its material play today. 6-speed on the slow side. Fast side, this is a pretty unique material. I do think it's the same material that True Cornhole uses on the fast side of their Aftershock bag. If it's not exactly the same, it is very similar. It looks like it, feels like it, plays like it. But there's only 2 bags I know of right now that are using this material. It's like a 8.5, 9-speed bag. Very similar to the Game Changer Surefire fast side material. If you've thrown that, it looks similar to that. Slightly different, but it has a similar look to it, similar feel, similar playability. That maybe a touch more control than that material has, but it's fast enough for pushing, collecting, cleaning up messes, pushing multiple bags, blowing up piles. You get a ton of speed here for doing what you need to do when you've got bags all over the board. So love the way it plays. 6 slow, 8.5 on the fast side on this. The Frontline Duo template is a medium template bag, kind of right where a lot of bags are, right in that sweet spot, the medium template on there. It's a medium amount of fill here, so you have flop to it. It is not overly floppy. For those of you who don't like floppy bags, you can definitely throw this bag. For those who don't like full bags, you can throw it. It's kind of right down that middle, that sweet spot again for bag template and flop on there. The fill in here is, if it's not 100% flat fill, it is mostly flat fill. I don't feel any round beads whatsoever. I think there may be some flat disc with some thicker flat possibly, but it's all flat fill in here, which gives the bag a ton of forgiveness and loyalty. You've got a bag that you have control over. It's full enough. I can grip it. I've got complete control, so I can control the way the bag comes out of my hand, no problem whatsoever. But the bag lands fairly soft. Even if you don't throw a flat bag, it doesn't have a ton of kick. It's not going to punish you that much on it. So fairly soft landing. For those of you who don't throw flat bags, you can get away with throwing this. Even with having the control you have with it, it's really forgiving in the landing. It also has enough flop that around the hole, I feel like it's a very forgiving bag around the hole in the sense that if you do miss your landing zone, you can get that bag, just that corner to grab that hole. It'll pull the bag back and pull it right back in there for you. So you got that forgiveness there. The one knock, if I were to nitpick this at all, it's the flat fill. And I always say, my issue with flat fill is that it wants to settle, right? It gets up near the hole, and if you miss your landing zone and you get that bag off to the side, that flat fill wants to settle and it just stops. Whereas round fill, the beads, they don't want to settle. They don't like to rest the types. They're trying to move. They're constantly moving and trying to find a flat spot. And so that tends to lead to more of bags dripping in. That being said, I didn't really have an issue. Like, there was not a time I threw this bag, I was like, man, I wish that bag should have gone, and it did. I never felt like that. So, and if I did have a bag that I left hanging, very easy to collect. The next bag coming down, just clipping it. I didn't really have to get too crazy, too aggressive to go after it. So honestly, for being a flat fill bag, I did not notice any issues with it in the way it played around the hole. I felt like both materials are very hole friendly for the control you get with them. So, which leads me into playability on this. Since I'm really kind of going on that path here, and we'll talk about it. It's a versatile bag for being a 6-speed, kind of that mid to fast speed, slow side, it's still very versatile. Clearly, you can get up there, you can run bags in the hole, go hole for hole, outscore your opponent, and have no problem. And that's probably for me, this is the type of bag, if I want to run bags in the hole, this is the type of bag I'm pulling out. That's kind of what I'm doing with this bag. I can run bags in the hole, no problem whatsoever. But if you want to throw a blocker, I found that it didn't take much. I didn't have to pull much off of this. So if I wanted to throw a blocker, typically with a faster bag or this speed bag, I've got to really throw more of a higher arc, softer bag it to stop. I didn't have that. When I took a little bit off and the bag would just stop and I had the control on it. So I really loved the ability to put a blocker up there if I wanted to. So I can run bags in the hole, and then if I'm getting behind, I need to manufacture some points, I can take something off, put a blocker there, no problem with that. Or maybe I want to just mix a round up and throw a little bit of a dirty round. I can definitely do that. The fast side's plenty fast enough to push through, so I got multiple bags there. You can push through and collect. So there's no worries about leaving bags up there and being afraid of being able to collect them. I definitely can collect the bags. I loved the ability to throw those blockers up there. And honestly, I had the ability to throw cut shots. Like cuts weren't a problem. Rolls and flops, the shot shaping ability of this bag is actually really good for the speed that it has to it. And if you're kind of that below average in the shot shaping, not a bag you're probably going to have a lot of success with. But if you're average to above average in cuts, rolls, flops, you can definitely do that with this. I would say on the cuts, I found I had to get a little bit more of a tilt on it to get a little more aggressive, exaggerate that tilt a little more to really get it to cut. But that's because of the forgiveness, right? Just a slight tilt on it one or the other, it really didn't grab. But once I put enough of an angle, I had no problem with that. Same with rolls and flops. If you know how to get the orientation, that back load, that front load, you can definitely get the rolls and flops out of this Frontline Duo, no problem whatsoever. So shot shaping was definitely there for this bag if that's the style game you like to play. In fact, for me, I like this bag if I'm playing against an opponent who plays a dirty style game, because I can pull this out and I've got the ability to run bags in the hole. I got the ability to push through their blockers the fastest I need to. I got the ability to think about a blocker up there that I can throw cuts. I can step out and just kind of get around, because again, you're just getting that corner to grab the hole. It pulls the bag back in. It's going to drip in. It's very hole friendly for that. So you have a lot of options when your opponent puts blockers there of getting around their bag, leaving their bag, and making them collect that. And that's for me. If I'm playing an opponent who plays a dirty style game and is better at it than I am, I want to have a bag that I can get around and leave their bag. Because if you play someone who throws blockers and you make them collect their blocker, you're not collecting them every time, then what happens is they start putting that blocker more in the middle or more where it's easy for them to collect. They're not going to get aggressive. They don't want to put bags on your side because they might leave them. And if you can get around it consistently and they've got to go after that bag, that runs the chance of not just leaving that bag, but maybe leaving two bags there. And now instead of giving them 2 points, they give it 4 points. And you do that enough, they're going to stop throwing those blockers out there. They're going to get less aggressive with that. So that's what I like to do when I'm playing that style players. A bag like this where I have options to get around, sneak bags in the hole, and not take their blocker with me. And this Frontline Duo does a great job of that. So really for me, the style of game that I play, I would say, if you are a slow bag thrower like I am, like you like to throw slow, medium bags, those carpet bags, hybrid style bags, but you're looking for a fast bag to add to your arsenal, I think this Frontline Duo does a great job of that, because it still has a lot of the characteristics and playability of that slow to mid-speed bag with the shot shaping, with the blockers. You can still play that, but you get enough speed that you get more of that hole for hole style action out of it. So definitely check that out. If it's like something you're looking for. Leads me to availability. Templar Cornhole has a website. It's templarcornhole.com. Link down in the description for you guys. As always, the bags were $80 for a set, and from Templar, there's free shipping, so $80 shipped to you. Phenomenal price. It's kind of like lower end of pricing for high quality bags. So I definitely recommend checking them out for that price if it sounds like something you're interested in. If you've thrown these Frontline Duos, I'd love to hear your feedback, what you like, what you don't like, your thoughts on the bags. Drop it, comment down below. Always love hearing you guys' opinions. I thank you so much for your support, and I thank you for watching.